In this video, I'm going to talk about one of the biggest update of C# 12. This biggest update is Primary Constructor. If you are a .NET developer and you are using C# for your programming applications, then this video is for you, because after watching this video, you will learn a new way of writing your constructor in C# programming language. And remember, this update is something that will change the way of writing your code in C# programming language. Hello everyone, my name is Nitish and I am a Microsoft MVP in developer technologies. In this video, I'm going to talk about everything about the primary constructor. We will talk about what are the primary constructors, how can we assign the values in primary constructor, what is the use of this primary constructor, what if I want to assign these values in some fields, then how can I do that, what if I want to assign the values in the properties, then how can I do that, what if I want to validate those values before assigning them, then is this possible? Can I still use multiple constructors? How can I use the this keyword? How can I use the base keyword? And the biggest update, how can I use the dependency injection by using this primary constructor? So let's understand everything by using the practical scenario. Here I have created a very basic console application, and I have created this application by using the .NET 8. If I open my CS pros file, over here you can notice I'm using this .NET 8.0. In this application, I'm having this program class, and in this program class, this is the main method. Over here, I have created the object of this employee class. Let's have a look what is this employee class. Over here, you can notice this is the employee class, and this is extremely simple class. What we have over here, we are having a constructor, and in this constructor, I'm getting two values, first name and last name. And basically, I'm assigning these two variables in these fields, first name and last name, and this is how I'm assigning them. Now, I have created one more method over here, which is display name. And in this display name method, I am displaying both the values, like full name is equals to the first name and then the last name, right? And in my program.cs class, I have created this object by using this new keyword, and I'm passing two values. And then by using this obj, I'm calling this display name method. So ideally, this should print the full name, which is Nitish Kaushik, over here on this console.write line. Let's run this application and see what is the output. As expected, you can see the output is full name is equals to Nitish Kaushik. Now I'm going to use the concept of primary constructor in this application. As per the primary constructor rule, I can simply use this particular line from this place. Let's just copy it and paste it over here along with the name of your class, like this. And you can simply just comment this entire thing like this. Now you can use these variables directly in your entire class. The scope of these variables is this entire class. You can use them anywhere. You can use them in any one of the method of this class. Now I'm not making any further change. Let's just run this application again. And this time you can see we are getting the same message. So what is the difference? The difference over here is code readability. Here you can notice that to achieve these two things, I was using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines. Now I can remove all these 7 lines and I can simply use my code directly over here as a primary constructor. Over here you can pass single values, multiple values based on your need. Now this is something that has been added in records. Let's get a record over here, public employee record, like this, and I'm going to use these two things, first name and the last name over here. Let's go back to this program.cs class, and over here if I'm using this employee record, here you can see we are already having this similar approach in records. But what is the main difference? The difference is that in records, you can access these values as a properties outside this class. What does it mean? It means, so let's say over here, if I'm using this employee record dot, over here you can see that I can access both these properties by using this object name outside that record. Now what will happen if I'm trying the same approach with this class primary constructor? Let's try that. Obj dot, here you will notice we are not getting those values as a properties. Why is this happening? This is happening because in records these fields are considered as the properties, and over here in the primary constructor these variables are considered as the private fields. That is the main difference. Let's just remove this record thing, because we are not interested in a record. We are talking about the primary constructor over here. Now let's say I have a requirement that I want to assign my values only to these fields. I do not want to use them directly. I want to assign them in some fields. So let's just uncomment these things like this, and over here I can simply assign them like this, first name, and over here I'm having this last name. So let's just update the values. Let's say it is first name in caps and like this, and use this first name over here and this last name over here like this. This is how you can assign your values to the private fields. Let's just run this application again, and here you can see we are getting this same output again. Now let's say I want to assign these values to some properties. So let's do that. Here I'm having these properties, and let's say this is string type, and let's say it is my property 1, and add one more line over here, and let's say it is property 2. Now to assign the values, you can simply assign them directly by using this concept, and now you can use these properties as well. Let's just comment these things, and now you can use your properties over here like this. See, there is no compile time error. If I will run this application, then I will get this similar output. Here you can see I'm still getting this same output. Now let's say I have another requirement that I want to apply some validations on these fields before assigning them to these properties. How can I do that? So the concept is very simple. Over here, before assigning the value, you can write your custom logic. The concept is very simple. Over here you can call any method, or you can write your code directly over here. So let's say here I'm having, if the length is greater than 3, then only assign the value, else throw argument exception. Let's just format it like this. Over here you can see that before assigning the value, I have added one validation. The validation is that if the length of this first name is greater than 3, then it should be assigned over here. Otherwise we can throw the exception. So first let's just run this application, and you can see everything is working as expected. But if I will pass some less characters, for example I'm passing only these 2 characters, and try to run this application again, this time you will notice we will get an exception. Here you can notice we are getting the exception, and it is saying the value must be greater than 3 characters. This is how you can apply some validations on these parameters before assigning them to some fields or the properties. Now over here there could be one more problem. The problem is that you can access these properties outside this class. So for example, I'm here in this program.cs class, and I can access these properties. Here you can notice I'm getting this my property 1 and my property 2 in the IntelliSense, and over here you can notice that I'm having this updated like this. Let's just run it, and here you can notice I'm getting this updated value over here. What if I do not want to do that? In that case, you can simply remove this set, and you can use only the getter. What we are doing over here, we are assigning the values directly, but we are not making them of setter type. We are only using the getter properties. Now in this case, if you will try to assign the value over here, then you will notice we are getting one error at this place. It is saying you cannot assign the value over here. It is the read only. So this is how you can fix this problem. Let's just use this first name and last name over here directly, because we will talk about the another concept now. And I'm just going to remove this entire code. As we already know that a class in C# can have multiple constructors. What if I want to have multiple constructors over here? Is that possible? Yes, this is still possible. You can use multiple constructors over here, right? So this is the parameterless constructor, but the main difference over here is that if you are using the primary constructor and you are using some other constructors over here, then you have to use the this keyword, and by using the this keyword you have to pass some values in this particular primary constructor. How? This is how you can do that. So you can use this keyword, and in this keyword you can pass, let's say it is n, and put a comma, and it is k like this. Now what will happen over here, I am not going to use this constructor. Let's simply just remove it. I am using this parameterless constructor, this one. Now let's just run this application and see what is the output. In this case you can notice I'm getting this n and k output on the console window. This is how you can use multiple constructors over here. You can still use more than one constructor. For example, if you are passing only one single parameter, then you can use that as well. But again, the condition is same, that you have to use this keyword and you have to pass these two values for the primary constructor. Now let's talk about the parent-child relationship. So over here, let's say I'm having one more class. So if I open the Solution Explorer, you can notice I'm having one more class, and it is parent class. In this parent class, I'm already having one primary constructor and I am passing only one single variable over here. And you can notice here I'm having this method. This is toString method. I have basically overridden this value, and whatever I will pass over here in the name, this is something I will get in the output. What if this employee class is implementing this parent class? How to do that? So this is the concept that I'm talking about, parent. This one, I think we can simply remove this one because it is not required now. So if you are using the parent class and you are using primary constructors, then you can see we are getting the error because we have to pass the values in the constructor of this parent class as well. How can we fix that? The fix is simply by using again the parenthesis over here, and you can simply pass your values. You can pass your hardcode value, or you can also pass any of the value that you are having over here. So let's say it is first name. Let's say I want to just simply pass this first name over here, and that's it. This is how you can pass the value in your parent class. You can still use that previous concept of using the constructor and use the base keyword, and by using the base keyword you can call the constructor of the parent. That concept is still applicable, but this is the new concept, and you can pass the value directly in the constructor of the parent class by using the parenthesis over here, just like the primary constructor. Now let's talk about the biggest update, which is going to be dependency injection. So to work with the dependency injection, I have created one more application, and this is the ASP.NET Core Web API application. And if I open my controller folder over here, you can see I'm having only this employees controller, and in this employees controller I'm having this one single method which is getName, and I'm getting this value from this employee repository. So what is this employee repository? Here you can see this is a very basic repository. I'm having only one single method, this is getName, and this employee repository is implementing this interface which is iEmployee repository, and again this is the method over here, right? Again in the employees controller class, I am using this constructor over here, and I'm using this employee repository as a dependency, right, in the constructor. And I have created one field over here, and this is how we generally use this dependency injection in any application. Now let's open this program.cs class, and in this program.cs class, here you can notice I have added this repository as a singleton. And over here in this employees controller, I'm having only one single action method which is getName, and this method is basically calling this repository.getName, and this is the implementation. So basically on the output window I will get this message. Let's just run this application and see what is the output. So that's the browser, and here is the Swagger. Here you can notice we are having only one single endpoint. Just click on this try it out button, use this execute, and here you can notice we are having this output in the response body. Now what will happen if I want to use the primary constructor over here? So in this employees controller, let's simply use this line and just paste it over here, and let's just remove all these things. Nothing is required. See, the code is extremely simple, it is very much readable, and it is looking good to me. And remember, there is no difference in the functionality. Everything will work as it was working earlier. Let's just save all the changes and run this application again. Again we are having the same request. Let's just click on this one and click on this button, hit on this execute button, and you can still notice we are getting this same output over here in the response body. And remember, you can use as many dependency you want to use in your controller over here. You can simply put a comma and you can use your second dependency, and by using the concept of this primary constructor, you can simply remove so many extra lines that we used to have in the previous versions. That is all about the primary constructor in this video. Let me know your feedback about this primary constructor in the comment section below. Is this something useful, or this is something that will confuse you during the implementation? Whatever you think about this primary constructor, let me know your feedback in the comment section below. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.